Okay, that's Ruth telling us to shut up. Welcome, everyone. Once again, we are on Join the Chat. It's the place where every single voice and opinion matters. Your voice is respected. We try to provide a free and an open platform, not only to speak, but to be heard. And we empower you just to express your opinions. I am your host, your moderator, Renford, Mr. Bojangles, live and direct on the scene. Along with me, I have Joe and Andre. Is Andre with the impeccable lighting again, always showing us up. But other things that we are here. What's going on, gentlemen? How's everyone?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
To tell you the truth, I'm exhausted. I don't know about y'all, but this back to school September, back to everything opening has just exhausted me. But we here join the chat, so I need y'all to help me bring the energy up. I'm gonna do what I can do, but I need the supporting cast tonight. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah. It's good to be here, man. It's good to be back. It's been a month off, so I'm looking forward to this discussion, this chat.
Yeah. So we were in the green room earlier having like a whole bunch of discussions about this topic before we even started the show, and some people said how the show started already. So now that we're here, tonight's topic, we're talking about artificial intelligence, and we will get into the cryptocurrency and finances later. But the first topic is artificial intelligence. For those who don't know what that is the ability of a computer or a robot or a controlled robot to do a task that usually a human would do. And we're seeing this a lot. We started seeing it a lot more during this pandemic at the cash registers. I know when I used to go out, nobody was checking anyone out anymore. It was all self checkout, which is what was being implemented months and months before, but weren't necessarily adopted highly. And now it's just there. So, what do you all know about artificial intelligence? Let's just take it away and see where we're at. Andre, we haven't been here for a month, so let's start with you, man. What do you know about AI? And we ain't talking about Allen Iverson. You were talking about NBA earlier. We're talking about artificial intelligence, not Allen Iverson tonight.
Okay, most that's what I was gonna say. Allen Iverson stepping over Tyronn Lue, but talking about the actual man-made thing, that is an imitation of life or imitation of humans, doing human tasks, assisting humans, coming to our aid. They are knowledgeable, and they basically help to make the human life easier in a sense, and it's to an extent it even is using our security, in securing humanity and all of that stuff. So AI, from how I know it, is just a man-made tool that can use to assist or use to make one's life better, but not guarantee a prosperous, or put it prosperity. Then make your life easier, but it doesn't guarantee your prosperity. So to speak.
So do you actively use AI? Do you
Yeah, we
embrace
all use AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all doing this, the smallest things, like from the telephone, the computer. Though I see all these stuff, to me, are AIs, in the sense that it's
I use Google
man-made.
Maps everywhere I go.
Exactly, it's man-made, and it stores stuff like my phone contacts, all of that. That's knowledge, inside of it, in a sense. Whenever I make a call, it log it. That's a knowledge too. So my phone is a bit of an AI, but it's just a regular one that I think that is accessible. Humans can live with that one, because we know to manage the telephone to an extent, not barring the side effects, like with the whole radiation stuff. But in terms of managing and having control, yeah, the telephone, that's okay. But to go robotic now, where at the airport something's screening you and all of that, like you're giving up your rights to a robot to scan you and tell you if you can go, no. That part to me is making it scary that time.
So would you prefer you just prefer a person to be checking you out and checking you out?
Yeah.
And making,
Yeah, man.
I that you like, eh?
Yeah, woman especially. What? No problem. But humans, I rather a human overall to check me out than a machine. To be honest.
Joe, what's your perspective or your take or your experience with AI?
I mean, it's just the regular day-to-day stuff, but I see it in a different light. To me, it's like the hammer and the wheel. Those are great inventions that made our life easier, like Andre's saying, and you really hope that this makes our lives easier. Like working a 40-hour work week, grinding, all these things we do. That's what the AI is supposed to do. It's supposed to help us get better. And I think a thing we haven't even really touched on is voice AI. There's some, there's so much stuff out there that we're not even using on a regular basis right now. Like think of like when we were younger, if you had 2 TVs in your house, like
you're rich.
You were rich. You had some money, but now most people have TVs in every room. Minus the TV like on their phone. So people who have fridges now that order food for them when it runs out, and I think of like what I actually use that. I'm like, okay, well, if I could go to Costco and have everything ready all the time without me ordering, because I 90% of the time order the same stuff and then you just cross it off, why wouldn't I want that? And like even the AI to go as deep as like, how fresh do I like my berries and my bananas? Because they know how often I'm eating them and when. So like all these little steps I could take the thinking out, but it's interesting to see like Andre said, when you go to the airport, you want someone like person there. But then when he said that, I was like, but if it was for my safety, I'd probably rather have a computer checking all these people, because they'll probably catch more things than the human error.
Right. You said something interesting. Taking the thinking out of it. AI is helping us take the thinking out of stuff. So I'm going to throw this, both Andre and Joe, we'll just talk about it. Is that necessarily a good thing? Is it problematic? Is it something we should be fearful of, that we're taking the thinking out of our day-to-day operations?
I have a feeling Andre and I think different, so I'm going to let Andre go first.
No, man, you if I drop the ball, because when you said the thinking, it definitely jump on my ears. That one was the ear grabber. Like, see, Joe, you're removing the human element. And it's a thinking aspect, the part that we can't see. You know what I mean? So if you giving up that thinking aspect or that part of you, we are giving it up to. You're giving that up to the robot. So you're giving up so much. I don't even know how to express a thought. Like, imagine a metal trying to get what you're trying to express a feeling, and the metal is trying to understand that feeling. So imagine you giving up that aspect of a human and put it in a metallic thing to say, man, the robot helped me by thinking what I want, and damn, but guess how he knows that? It's just simple, because what the robot does is just noticing Joe, is just noticing what Joe does, you know what I mean? So maybe if Joe had a wife, you know, back in the days, my grandmother was his AI. She knew exactly what you want, to cook it and all of that.
Yeah.
No, our fridge telling us that and all of that. It's just data that they collected along the way. And sometimes we think our phone subscribe and move it to us, and we get excited. Like, yeah, they tell me the movie, but I'm not. I don't really. The problem I have is human make mistake in communication. We can't communicate sometimes with each others, and it just happen like that. And maybe my understanding is different, and my knowledge. So combine the two of them, my knowledge and my understanding, then you will see my wisdom, because I can interpret and I can translate. Because people mark you like that in school, or you understand the knowledge, or you interpret and or you relate it back. So with the robot, if I'm gonna give a robot an instruction now, it's a guarantee it's human nature to make mistake. Errors is gonna happen. So imagine you trying to tell a robot that no, Joe is not endangering you, but maybe what Joe is doing, the robot see it as a danger, meaning he has on a hoodie over his head. So the robot sees that, yeah, that's danger. Robot the hood pullover is in his face, but he can't understand or interpret to say, okay, it's just a human being wearing a outfit. But because you program the robot to believe certain things, like when you go to the fridge and you take your banana a particular way, orange, he say, okay, Joe always take his banana on this particular angle, so that means he likes it. So that's assumed to be like when you see a particular action. But at the same time, now someone probably endangering Joe and come in the fridge. But because the person do it that way, what I'm trying to say is a robot is programmed. Humans today, where our mood can change in the next hour and the next minute, so to speak. But the robot is programmed to train a particular way, and since that's danger, they're gonna react a particular way. That's good, they react a particular way. That's rainford, they react a particular way.
So Dre, what are you saying then? What are you saying? Is AI good then, or is it not good?
No, I'm saying it's taking away the human thinking, human aspect of it.
You want that physical touch, you want the human thought, you want that process. You don't want to lose that.
Yeah, that should be there. But as I'm saying is that humans are bound to make mistake, and in terms of that, a robot is guaranteed not to make that so-called mistake because it's programmed to carry out a task. But in the sense of,
for example, emotion to it.
Yeah, to it. Like I'm saying, with the pullover, for example, the pullover, he's trained to know that when the person want to pull over, that's danger. So Joe going to the work because the weather is cold and he was wearing a pullover. The robot doesn't know to interpret that. Oh, that person is cold. Why the person is wearing the pullover? He's just sensing danger because robot is all programmed, you know. So
let me flip
a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
let me flip it real quickly then. So we're saying that the robot, or you're saying, Andre, that the robot is not connected with that emotion, right?
Yeah.
But what if there's a lot of situations where people's emotions are actually the things that falter, and then they're not able to respond in a quick enough time, or they give a certain chance where if they're able to kind of just be stone-faced and not and just look tunnel vision, they'd say, you know what, that person might be a risk, I'm not going to give them a chance, as opposed to giving them a chance and they go out and cause another accident. You know what I mean? So isn't it good that the robot can have no emotion and can just look at everything fact? I'll let you think about that, Joe.
I got an answer for that. I got a great answer for that. I heard this talking about this. They're talking about the new Teslas driving, and to touch on Andre's point and touch on what you're saying. So what would happen is the car's driving down the road. There's two people on the left. There's two people on the right. The car can't make the decision if it has to veer off the road, if it's going to hit the two young kids or the two older kids. It's just going to take the mathematical lowest chance possible of having it. So you might take out two kids or two people who are 99 years old, where when you have empathy and you're thinking like, maybe we should give these kids longer time on life as opposed to the other one. But the computer is only thinking like, hey, I need to go to the shortest distance away that could possibly save more lives. Maybe I kill 3 people instead of 4 people. So I get what you're saying, but I want to rewind to the point where I let Andre go first, because I think we're going to think differently on this. he's really talking about the emotion of things and how we don't want to lose the human touch and have empathy on those things. And I really agree with that. I think like when you're talking about policing, firefighting, all these things, you don't want to hand it off to a robot to make these like, you know, brute force decisions on us. But what I'm thinking of is like decisions that will free up your mind space to do other things that are more creative for you. Mm-hmm. So like if I don't have to think about buying milk or buying eggs, I can just go and pick it up when I need it every time. It allows you to have more open space to do other things in the world that you want to do, whatever that might be creatively. And I think like if AI can get to a point where we're not abusing it and hurting people, which always happens in the world we live in, we take advantage of the things we make. That could be really beneficial for us.
Joe, you touch on a nice point there to keep the ball rolling. When you said that point just now to say human abuse, that's one of the things was trying to get at, where human make this thing that we're dependent on, and human make mistake. And that thing that we're making now depending on information we put inside of it. So when they're doing their whole data research and stuff, they're putting that information in. Who knows if that information is true? Just saying, all right, fine. But now when the robot comes now and want to treat it like a human aspect, when you and I work, sometimes we get exhausted, we get tired, and you want to rest, and you just feel the week, the effect on the week, like a Friday, for example. Sometimes we go a month hard, and we feel at work, problem, and we're like, so tired. And I've seen where Siri, you're annoying it, telling Siri, play this. I couldn't believe, Joe, you know that the Siri decided to play a different music altogether. And it's like, what are you doing? But I laugh at the time, but it's just the human aspect they're trying to give the robot. The robot get annoyed and play the music it wanted to play. That's earlier this summer. We laugh, but look at it. Even the video game you're playing. Play it every day. Like I noticed, like play it every day, like 8 hours every day on the FIFA or whatever it is. You start to see the glitches over time. You want to buy the new one. So with robots, it have an expiry time, and humans want the new advanced one every year. Every year want a new one. Again, it's showing the small things. So the phone is that example where phone evolve, not decades, but every year a new one come, and we leave the other one behind. Imagine that robot now having the capacity to have that information we updated on it. We don't know to dispose it, because all these phones, we have a lot of phones here still walking or like put down, but it's just there. But you're giving life attribute to these robots and things. We as humans gonna exhaust it and use it often, because first thing, the robot can't get tired. So me and you is gonna use it, but it's a man-made thing, and it's only man-made, only have so much limits, so it has limitation. The side effects, we don't even truly know it, because we don't know it's gonna react. We can compare our side effect on our TV. It's different than with our phone. The side effect with your car, or it act up sometime. You go to the mechanic, or the computer giving problem. Your laptop, every mechanism that's AI reacts differently sometimes. I know the impact, maybe. So imagine you having a robot. We don't know that robot gonna be, and you train that robot and put DNA. So I think as human, we're gonna cause it to be a problem to us, because we like advancement and we want to get the new version of stuff. So we're gonna have a surplus of AIs around, and we don't know what impact that can bring. And if it's a similar like a human, it's artificial, meaning man-made, and intelligence, which is a reflection or something of a human, something that knowledge and understanding.
Is there anything that you would have a robot for? Like if you're like
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the car. All right, as Esther said, there's moderation. So the car is okay when we put it in park and drive. That's all right. Because that's an AI. And the Samsung, the 3310, them all right. The Android, them is enough. It's computer. You know, as I said, moderation. But to put in the sense of defense.
I mean, like right now, if you say, okay, I got a robot, I'm going to give it to you. It can do like 2 or 3 tasks for you. What would you choose those tasks to be?
For me, go make some money. I want the robot to go make some money for me. Yeah, and try going to the bank as money.
You don't even want
that's going to money. Yeah,
make the money.
Man, I don't want to help me do nothing. The simple things like to think my grocery and stuff. I'm losing the human element. But go make the money now.
What if it could clean for you? What if it clean
no, man.
House?
Again, that's nature. I want to clean, Joe. I enjoy. My beautiful wife is here, Joe, man. Don't embarrass her like that.
Massage your feet.
That guy don't embarrass her.
What
What
if
about
you
you,
never
Joe?
had to drive again?
Joe, if you had a
No,
robot,
no.
what are 3 things that you'd want that robot to do?
Everything.
Like, besides, obviously, who doesn't want their robot to make the money? But like, if it could clean for me, for sure, I would just never clean my house again. Like, if all the laundry was done, never had to
Wipe the
wash the
chicken.
floor. What?
Never have to watch a chicken.
Watching chicken. Yeah, I thought we were done with that joke, man. You come and resurrect it.
It's his machine, his robot resurrected.
What's that robot for? Oh, he just watches my chicken.
Yo, for real though, for me,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want a robot. If there is 3 things I'd want a robot to do, in all honesty, because I take value in the things that I do. I'd love to have more time in the day. I'd love to be able to be in 2 places at once. But like I find even sometimes when I leave the washing machine on, and then I go and do something else, and if I'm not spending the time, then the clothes don't get washed properly, or there's not enough detergent, or I forget to put in the fabric softener. You know what I mean? Like these little things, because I'm depending on the washing machine to do that thing, and then I have to do the load again because it's not clean. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think there's a value for me, at least, in just doing the things that I do in life without the AI. Of course, I use it. GPS, all that stuff. But
Okay, so what are you saying? You're saying you wouldn't get a robot that helps you out?
no, I don't think if I had a robot and I was like, do 3 things, I don't think I would be like,
Come
hey,
on.
do this.
You're
Yeah,
just
the
like
far-
right
the
now,
far
we're just some
use
old
human
guys
thing.
on the internet doing like, back in my day, I used to walk up like, no, there's no way, man. There's no way. If the robot came in, was spotless, chilled with you, played the hip hop music you wanted to play anytime you wanted to listen to it, for sure.
No. Because listen, as a DJ, right? Like, let's talk about AI and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I remember playing vinyl records. Like,
That's
there was
okay.
no sound, there was no quality like a vinyl record. And now that everything's on that digital age, and everything's on my hard drive, it's just not the same appeal. Like, I don't enjoy the experience like I used to when I used to go out to the record store and buy the 45s and buy the 12-inch and open up the package, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Smell it.
yeah, but granted, I love the AI now in terms of music, because I don't have to walk around with crates anymore. I walk around with all my music in this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have thousands and thousands of songs, so it's convenient, but there's just an element that's just not the same. That's just for me. Before we continue, I just want to shout out some people in the chat here, because we got some of our faithfuls here. Cheryl Archer is in the mix. She said, "Let this mind be you, which was also in Christ Jesus." Philippians 2:5-11. We were created as intelligent beings. I don't want to give up my entire thought processes for some robots, man. For some robots, man. Next time you have to write it in the patois. You can't just put the man at the end of the thing. Write the whole thing in patois. I'll read it in patois. But yeah. But I see what you're saying though, for sure. We don't want to give up our entire minds, our entire thought process. Rochelle Copeland, what up? What up? She's bigging up Andre tonight, checking in on Andre, or is she
Shout
checking
out
in
to
Andre?
George. Yeah.
I'm gonna try read this proper. SCB is in the place too, and she is saying AI should be used in moderation, but it seems like the world wants it to completely replace humans with robots. Agree? Humans only use 8 to 12% of their brains. Soon we will only use 2% because of our dependency on AI. Great point. Do you believe that we are too dependent on the AI? Joe, let me throw it to you, or I'll throw it to anyone.
Was that a question or in the chat? Or?
Do you think that we are too dependent on AI?
For sure. We definitely are. I think that if something happened, they cut out internet, like people would be lost. If food chain supplies go down, there's so many people who don't know how to cook or forage or hunt or do all these things, and they're scared. They're afraid to go out and do that stuff. And you think like you really need to learn some old school farming skills, at least like how to start a fire and camp. Like there's some people who couldn't even set up a tent, like if stuff went crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. And I think we're getting more and more reliant on technology.
Yeah.
We're becoming very dependent on the government. Sorry, I mean AI. Oh my gosh, my bad, yo. But yeah, if you look at it like with the only problem I have with it, I think we're depending on it. To be honest with you, Again, as I tell you, in the small things, because the small things that show the big problem, you know, small like the phone. People crazy about the smallest thing like the phone where everybody can get. So imagine that advanced robot that only Kanye West can afford, you know, people like Kanye. And if you and I get the chance to do it, we just abuse it, you know, take it, abuse it, everything out of it. But the only thing I want to say is, at what stage do we know when an AI is like fully grown and ready to do the task? Meaning you teach the kid something and the kid take a certain amount of time to develop and can behave a particular way, yeah? When is that AI? If like the iPhone 10 come out 2010, it doesn't need some time for the iPhone or that AI module or product to develop. Those a lot of questions I have for the AI, to be honest with you, you know, stuff like that, because you just get the car right away, you trust it right away, it can do all the tasks you want. Does it evolve? When I get my AI, like for example, I buy my robot. Do I need to bring it in every year to upgrade him? Like, how it work? Like after 10 years, I'm gonna turn on me and 8 humans, or do I? It's crazy, you know, to be honest with you. So
you touched on something that's really, really key. And as we're talking about us being dependent on this AI, because I do believe that we are overly dependent on it, but it's the children, right? We got this generation that's coming up right now, and they don't know the world without technology. They don't know the world without asking Siri and Alexa and, you know, using the GPS and Google and all these things, right? Like everything to them is just so automated, and they don't even think about it, and it's just their normal. And maybe they shouldn't think about it, but it's their normal. And I wonder about them and how their thought process is developing or not developing because of all of this AI that's just in front of their face that they just is normal to them. You know, that's the thing that really concerns me.
But as I said, that I think they're developing still. It's just that their development coming at a different aspect than how you and I saw that development when we were youth doing our research. Because it's like, for example, my little nephew can show my wife how to do a program on her phone. Is like how him know to do that, like to screen record a video and stuff like that. Nobody teach him, you know. It's just that, as I say, it show you that as human, we actually are like water, you know. We can just adapt to certain farms. If you teach a kid to behave like dungeon or treat him like an animal, him going to show those characteristics. If you teach him
so then back to Joe's point then, right? So the children are crazy innovative right now because they just are immersed with the AI and they're able to understand it. But then if the power goes out, what happens?
For the kids?
Yeah. Power goes out. Now they don't have their phone, they don't have the electricity. What happens? Are they lost?
No, ask Joe, because he might be the one
who Joe is the power supply guy.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What happens?
They're bored, man. Don't you ever see them, man? It's like they literally can't ask him if I'm hungry. A kid, no power, or don't even say no power cut, right? They're on time out, bro. Time out. And they can't touch their gadget for like an hour. That kid looked as if he was bullied at school in the same year. He was late for a test, got suspended. Is everything in one. You see them like sad, gone. You're like, you okay? Mm-hmm. You want to read or watch a TV? They don't want to do nothing. Like they take away them life. You see, as soon as they give the gadget, you have to wonder, like, you see a life springing in. For us, that was going outside. If we couldn't go outside to play football, we have to stay inside to read a book. We're sad that time. But when we're to go outside, it's excitement. But for these kids, man.
No, that's an addiction. Those are addiction traits, right? Like, big time. Rochelle Copeland's up in the chat as well. She's saying that she agrees with SEB. Everything should be done in moderation. AI can be very useful and it has its place, but it should not be what we solely depend on as humans. Cheryl Archer is up in here saying that if she had a robot, the 3 things she would make the robot do is clean her house, go to work and bring home the money, and mow the lawn. You know what? I would take a robot to mow my lawn. I can't lie. I can
Told you.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, mow the lawn. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Watch now. You know what's the funny thing with the AI now? Yes. No. That's the thing with the AI now. When they tell him to mow a grass, When snow time coming, you know, see the snow as a grass, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's okay. I don't need I don't need that. I'm gonna reprogram him because remember we're recalibrating every 6 months.
No, they're gonna sell you a summer and a winter.
Somebody and a winter. I just tell him, tell your iPhone 10 if you come to summer 13, I don't tell me about bring it in. No, brother. The robot they only make for cut grass. It's a Jamaican one they get. Sorry, you should have buy an American one. We get the winter and the snow. Yeah. We laugh at these things, but that's exactly what I'm gonna make it, brother. You know.
Well, and this is exactly what these companies are doing, right? They're coming up with all of these algorithms that we fit in, and then next thing you know, they're trying to figure out what our tendencies are to offer us that next thing, right? We see it on our phones right now. You go order something online, next thing you know, you're getting all of these advertisements for something similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just so they're tracking our tendencies.
They do that for a while though.
Oh, for a long time.
You see, as I say something like that though, Ren, this lady named Janelle Shane, she's like an optics research scientist and an AI researcher, and she have a podcast named AI Weirdness, right? And she was saying like Amazon gave a sorting algorithm that they had to cancel because it was doing this, like they come to the conclusion that the algorithm is being discriminative to females, but it's because the study that they had the robots studying their previous resumes and stuff, and apparently because in the system is show where guys were getting more of the job, so female who would go to college or stay at the college they go or the female side, the robots see them not getting the job, so then they come up that. And I Googled it and I couldn't believe it's really there where the robot is actually being discriminative to the female because of the information and input inside of it. So that's what I'm saying is the AI is good, but we have to remember that the human aspect, just like how you and I don't trust a human, but it's a human make stuff and they put stuff inside of it. And when Joe can rationalize and put 2 and 2, just like, for example, the NBA player, when he's going to go up for dunk, you always teach a player to go up straight like this, right? But probably he was jumping from the line to dunk and you jump the same way instead of going forward to block him. Or the coach, you're like, but coach, you teach me. The coach be like, are you programmed like common sense say do, based on how the game is going, they do certain things at a certain time. But the robot, that's what the term we used to hear, your program. But the robot is programmed, is just gonna do what it was programmed to do. So that's where I think the big problem is gonna come into when we give the more advanced AIs, meaning like the phones and stuff. You have advanced phone, but the robot that communicate our security job at the airport, for example, that's where the problem is gonna come into play because sometimes we don't respect humans. Imagine a robot telling you over and over to like, Renford, move your shirt, take out your belt, take off your shoes. Like you're going to get fed up at some point. And then interaction gonna happen. That one person who's are running late to the airport. Sorry, AI, I'm running late. I just need to. No, you need to stop here. The robot is doing his job. So if we as humans don't foresee the future, it's gonna be devastating, to be honest with you. Because just imagine a robot and an air hostess, or a flight passenger and an air hostess who's a robot going at it. And the robot is just doing his job,
Now check it out. I don't want AI to only be depicted as robots, right? Like if anything that's done by a computer. I remember a couple of years ago, I swore I was never going to use the chip on my debit card, right? I said I was always going to go in. I was always going to put in my PIN pad. I was going to checking your savings account. But now, I'm swiping. I'm just chipping everything, right? And it's making my life easier, so I don't have to put in all that stuff. But I know I had a resistance to it in the beginning, but then it became comfort. It became easy. So, AI is also giving us a lot of convenience. Do you gentlemen feel that there are conveniences that you are using AI for that you now see kind of problematic? Like you'd want to get those rights or those privileges back?
Yeah, it's funny that you say rights. I think that the more convenient we allow technology to creep into our lives and society, the more rights and freedoms we have to give away with that at the same time because of privacy. So, are you willing to give your thumbprint to make your tap more convenient so your paycheck can be right directly to your thumbprint? Are you willing to do that? and you don't ever have to do taxes again because all your money's there, because all your money's digital now.
Right.
And you have a lot of people who work for cash who need that extra money without paying the government to survive, and we take that away from them. So I think it's like a slippery slope of what you want to let in. And I know we're not talking about COVID right now, but if you're looking at the digital passports, it's kind of the same thing. You can kind of roll that into it and see that was kind of happening now in our society.
100%. So you're on the same note as XCon. XCon is in here saying, note, AI is a good benefit and advantage to helping us live more comfortable, but it's also the biggest disadvantage to our privacy. And I think, Joe, you just touched on that, right? We are sending out so much of our information. My question always is, where's this data being collected? Where is it being stored? What is it being used for? These are the questions that you never necessarily get an answer to, but we give up all that data for convenience, And I think it's a slippery slope, as Joe was saying. We got to be very conscious of what we're doing. Kimmy Lavelle's up in here. Wagwan, my beautiful semi-robotic people. Away you there.
Yo, semi-robotic.
BPT don't exist no more, eh? Okay. Yeah, we love Kimmy, Miss Fabulosity. She will be with us on the next program again, but she's still giving us love. Showing a lot of love out to Gisley out there, too. He's working tonight.
Working the night shift.
The JTC family. Nothing but love, nothing but love. But yeah, what else did I want to talk about in terms of this AI stuff? Because, again, AI is crazy. So, how do you think the implementation of AI will affect the future job markets, or even today's market, because it's affecting us now? So how is AI or the implementation of it affecting the job market?
I think that... Sorry, go ahead, Andre.
No, you go ahead, man. I said there won't be a lot of nannies. Because Joe's going to hire all the robots to cook.
What?
You're going to hire the robot to cook for you and clean for you, so no more nannies, man. Sorry.
I'm going to go get someone warm in a tent, and my
migration rate going to drop.
I think you have to kind of take that question and reverse it back to education. What are we teaching our kids now that they'll be ready to work for in the future? Because if AI is taking over as it's taking over, jobs, the split between middle and you're taking out the middle class right away. You're making upper class, which will be people who make $200,000 a year plus, and then everyone else will be under that 30,000 mark for household income. You're really separating these two gaps, and it's going to come down to education. If your kid cannot process information fast enough that they can do all these jobs that are going to be non-existent, because there's jobs that aren't non-existent now, like Tim Hortons on Hunt Club Road has a pay at the machine now, right when you order. Like, that's taking one person out of the process, having to collect money, and they'll just say, we don't accept cash anymore. And then they don't even need anyone to touch cash or count money ever again. And then all the other places will follow suit. So I think it's not like what jobs are going to be available. It's like who's going to be smart enough to work the jobs that are.
Interesting. Dre, you have any points on that?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I just think, as Joe said, the middle class is just going to get dampened more because most of the startup jobs are the startup job, the McDonald's, the Tim Hortons type of job, or the Walmart. Those are the jobs that the young teen or the high school graduates start off with in order to go through college and that stage before they go into adulthood. So I think they're going to impact the middle class a lot, where it's just going to be one extreme and the lower, and then it's going to be up to the kids, or we're educating them to see what the market is about and what the market entails. And we also to instill in them to understand the different advantage of having certain career paths, like, again, with the trades, for example. That's one industry where, the robot is there, but the robot is necessarily, it can say, there to help you, but not to take away the jobs. I can say,
can clean the furnace
and all of that, and screw a toilet and under certain small spaces and all of that. So we have to show them the way too. And also it kind of show where self-dependence it's gonna be even more important, and being self-sustainable and stuff like that. So you're gonna learn to defend on yourself and develop your survival skills. So I think it's just the middle class is gonna get a big impact, because again, the stepping stone towards becoming a middle class, like the startup jobs, are being taken away, and then it's up to us to just show the kids that this career, this path is the one to go, where you can actually be sustainable and robots won't impact it.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think in one aspect, a lot of jobs are going to be affected because, I mean, once you start going to like those car making plants, right? Like they don't need the humans necessarily to put in the, certain parts of the vehicle. Robots are doing that now, right? So in one aspect, I think jobs definitely will be affected and will be lost and will be replaced by a lot of the AI. But then I start thinking, as you're talking about, Andre, like these robots, these infrastructures, these computers are going to have to be updated. They're going to have to be recalibrated. They're
They'll do it themselves, so that's what you're not thinking about. If they're smart enough, they'll do it themselves, and
True.
they'll just create more machines. They don't need us to update themselves. They're smart enough.
I get that, but still, it has to be created, right? At the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, for any one of those AI things to be on the road, even for it to self-recalibrate, somebody has to program it to recalibrate, self-calibrate. So it goes back to what you were saying, Joe, in terms of children now got to start learning these unconventional jobs that might not be in the forefront, in the foreground, and right now, and start looking futuristically to like, okay, well, how do I get into such and such so I can make these robots, or I can make these programs, I can control these algorithms, right? Like those are the type of jobs or type of things that the young generation has to be exposed to in order if they want to be in that workplace in the future. But like the conventional things that we're used to, the frontline agents, those jobs probably won't be there. So I see it twofold. I see if people are able to really navigate the new system, the new world, that there will be possibilities and jobs for them. But if you're just depending on the way things are now, you're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
but when you say frontline work, you see how funny it is. When you say front, you're talking like battlefield.
Even that, they have. I've been seeing robots being made to go to war, and they're able to
Yeah.
fire a gun and throw grenades and right
Do
because
backflips.
Yeah.
jumping up and on certain apparatus.
But
Do you see the robot dog
Yeah, that's one. Yeah,
policing COVID, telling people to put their mask on and
oh, I
back up?
didn't see that. I
Scary.
didn't see that.
Yeah, it's scary.
Like just in a random street.
It was in Ottawa. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'll find the video and say, I don't even know if he was policing COVID.
No, you're being for real? I don't know if you're joking right now.
I don't know if he was policing COVID, but it was a dog walking the street and it was giving orders like through a microphone.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah.
Let me see if I can find the link.
It's just the world we're living in, to be honest with you.
Yo, Kimmy's up in here still. I gotta give Kimmy a lot of love. She says she remembers watching RoboCop as a kid, and now look how far things have come. I am legend times 3,000, for real, right? Certain things that we saw in the Jetsons. I'm dating myself, but right, like all of these futuristic things that we thought were never going to happen in our lifetime are happening right now. So look how many vehicles are driving themselves, parking themselves, stopping, detecting who's in the blind spot. It's madness.
Sometimes you talk and it just hurt me. Like, me really see the malfunction with the car, like the car lane and it's annoying. You know what I mean? In the drive, you see the car pulling over one side. It's like, come on, man. You're on the soft shoulder and as the steering, you go up the bump and the steering doing its own thing. It's like two of us really driving the car, and it seems some people get excited about it and stuff, but that just imagine you're your partner indecisive at times at the traffic light, and then you miss the turn, cause bigger trouble, right? Imagine you're in a car going at it. No, you're going this, and the car is telling you the other way.
Listen, me, I don't like taking directions and people tell me what to do. So me and my car will be fighting big time.
That's what I'm talking
about. Me, I'm going straight, man. I'm detouring, man. Leave me.
We as humans, we can't get along with each other because
Trey, that's the human error you're talking about. It's him right there. Who entered this human error doesn't want to listen to the computer.
No, man, I detour, man.
Yeah.
Road closed.
Go.
But it's just the way the world going forward. So because at the end of the day, if you want to achieve oneness and that one world order, you have to get everything in line, and that's just the way to go. You know, it's inevitable. It's the world of sin, and the book have to fulfill. You know, yeah.
You know, all of these things, AI, all of the stuff that we use, they're all tools. Like Joe was talking to earlier, the hammer was invented, the wheel was invented, the light bulb, all of these things were invented to make our lives better, easier, more convenient, more simplistic for us to be able to do more. So these tools that we have to really manage them. It's not the tools themselves, but it's how we use it, and it's our responsibility to manage it properly. And let's not depend too much on it, but still embrace it if it's a part of new age that can help us do things easier. I don't know if you all agree with that or not. I'm not closing the show. I was just, it was just a point.
Thanks for having me.
No, I know it sounded like I was closing the show. Well, I ain't closing the show. All right, so because you have nothing to say about that, thank you so much for the response.
Move on.
That you guys just engaging with me tonight. Told you I needed y'all, and clearly you're not here to help me, so I'm on my own. I will work it out.
I don't know where you're going.
Don't worry about where I'm going, Joe. You don't have to follow me.
I'm in the car with you, though.
You're not in the car with me ever. You're in your Murano.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, we got about another 10 minutes. So as we're talking about AI, we were talking about data, we were talking about information. Cryptocurrency is another form of this AI and a new way of just dealing with finances. Are you guys familiar with the cryptocurrencies and stuff? I'm not too much, so I'm dependent on y'all. So what do y'all know about cryptocurrencies and these things?
I know it's here to stay, and you should look into it, because you're gonna have to learn how to use it soon.
Why will I have to learn to use it, Joe? Can you educate me?
Great question, Ren. Pardon me?
Now that you're in the car with me and you're driving shotgun and I'm just driving, like,
can I touch your stereo?
No, you never touch my music. Don't touch the music.
Oh, stereo.
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 Why do I have to get into this cryptocurrency?
Well, because the government is printing fiat money at an incredible rate, and that's not going to last for very much longer. So these dollar bills that we have are going to be gone. We were trillions of dollars in debt, and they're going to need a way to wipe that out. So they need to move it to something. So you might as well learn how to use cryptocurrency. It might not be Bitcoin or Ethereum that people are using, but it's all going to be digitalized, put on the blockchain technology. And I highly think that you should look into NFTs, non-fungible tokens, because if you're into music, artistry, it's a great way to track things on the blockchain technology. It's probably like the easiest way I can mention something. But it's very interesting. There's lots of ways to make money right now, even with not a lot of money, but there's also a lot of ways to get burned. And like you're seeing a lot of young people, for people who know what crypto is, an Ether right now is going for about $4,000. People are purchasing NFTs for anywhere from 1 to 62 Ethers. If you do the math on that, it's a few $1 million. And money is just flowing in and out right now. It's very interesting time to be alive. It's a new way to build wealth.
The only thing, the thing with the currency, the crypto thing is the information or the knowledge base. You have to educate yourself. Definitely, that's one thing. That's an advantage. Like learning to drive, you try to master the certain road codes and skills. I think that's one where before you get involved, you have to know the ins and the outs of it and the advantages, and how to, for example, like with your withdrawals and stuff like that. When can I withdraw? Some local information like that. So to be honest, I think it's an industry where before you get involved, you have to do your background.
You can send it right to your bank account.
Yeah, you can set up to your bank account, but sometimes you may get to judge the validity of a group that is probably working as an agent where you can purchase stuff through. Like, for example, there's so much ways, as I said, to make money through it, and there's so many ways you can get burned. So I experience it too, and the thing when I realize it, sometimes we get lazy to the point where we just know someone will do it and say, let that person do it for me. That's another business that you can't do that yourself. I think it's more hands-on where you have to manage that thing for yourself. It requires some micromanagement. So that's one advantage or one requirement I think everyone should know before you do the crypto. It requires micromanagement. If you're not that hands-on person, I don't think it requires discipline, to do that.
It depends.
Crypto purchasing.
I don't disagree with you. I think that if you're going to be going in and out and being fluid in crypto, I agree 100% with you. But if you're like, I'm just going to buy some Bitcoin and some coins and let it sit in an account, I think you can be very passive and just sit on it. The problem is that because Bitcoin is, I think it's at $50,000 right now, people don't want to buy, 0.0004. Is that the quote? No, it's Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, yeah. Bitcoin's on that. I was on that one.
Yeah, so people don't want to buy 0.004 of Bitcoin because they're not making a lot of money. They're expecting to get rich quick, which it's not the way to look at things. It really is. It's really finding a place to put your paycheck that you're making, finding a new platform to put it on to invest in. That's the way you have to look at it. It's not like I'm going to buy one Bitcoin and flip it and get rich. I'm investing $1,000. Do I want to invest $1,000 in the stock market? That's doo-doo. Or do I want to put in cryptocurrency where, like, if I put that in $100 in 10 different things, one of them could blow up to 5 million. Like, it's possible. Highly unlikely on most of them, but like a great thing is, like, a buddy of mine had 10 grand in Solana, took it out and moved it to Ethereum. Solana went up from 1 cent a coin to like $3. He would have been a millionaire, but he pulled it out too soon. So it's like these little things that are like, it's fun. We laugh at it now, but it's because we're learning how to do it. And like Andre, you're saying it, you're 100% right. You need to know how to move things off platforms, move it to a different platform, understand how important that your digital wallet is, and how to navigate through that system.
So you're not just talking about the currency, you're actually talking about investment as well, right? So it's one aspect is learning about the currencies themselves, and then the other aspect is investing in the currencies.
Kind of almost like they're the same. Do you know what I mean? You have to, like, there's different coins that have different value. So a lot of coins are sitting at anywhere from like half a penny right now. So, you like, this is the thing is, like, you drop $10 in that, and if you make 10 grand back, you know what I mean, in 6-7 months, it gives you the little nest egg to make another move. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of us are working a side hustle to make money, to make a move. You know what I mean? But the thing is like, if you pay attention to what's going on in this field, that could be your backup thing. $500 every 2 months. You know what I mean? $100, and you drop that in, and you watch it, and you diversify, and something hits. You're like, man, this is amazing. A friend of mine just won $200K with one of his. You know what I mean? American. So it's like, okay. Like, we've been at it together, just like one pops off, one's going to come another way.
No doubt.
And the thing is too, is like, it's not just like, oh, what's this digital currency? It's what's the platform it's built on, and what's the ecosystem. So can you do anything with a coin?
So wait, hold on. You're dropping some technical terms here. So before you just go on your point, because I want you to finish your point. Is there a place that people can go to? Is there a cryptocurrency for 101 for introductory or something like that? That a website, something that you can send people to, and then finish your point.
100%. Hit me up privately. I got you. Okay, I'll help you out for sure. Hit me up. And the next thing is what was your second point of question?
That kind of sounded like a dating ad. I can't lie.
100%. I'm going to court you through this process.
Oh.
The biggest thing you want to find is a community. Do you know what I mean? Because like Andre said, it's like, oh, I'm passively doing this through my buddy, and it's hard to do it that way. So if you put yourself in a community that people are like-minded with you, that you can trust, then it's more easy to throw in $50, $100, $1,000, $250,000. Kidding me? Call me. I got you.
Yeah, so no doubt. So Joe, put in the chat, in the comment section, Joe, put something where people can reach out to you. So at least they have that information. Your phone's going to be blowing up, my friend. But again, this is what we do here at Join the Chat. It's not just about having conversations, but it's also about spreading information, the wealth of knowledge. One person might have it, the other person might not, and we're all here to help each other just win in this game called life.
Yeah, so it's on the platform. So like you have a platform which is the what's the word? The blockchain technology. Okay. So Bitcoin is on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay. But the problem is that you have to have things that services that you can offer on the blockchain. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to find the right companies that are offering things. So like there's a company that's offering real estate in Dubai through NFTs. So you purchase the digital real estate. I pay $50 for 10 square inches of a building in Dubai. And when it comes through and someone Airbnbs the building in Dubai, I make a share for life. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not just like there's many little things that you can put on it. There's also like they're selling like coins. They have all the countries in the world, right? And they're selling coins in each country, but you bid people to become higher level in government, digital government, like it's not real. You don't make any decisions for the country. And then once it closes, anyone who buys from that country, you're at a certain level where you get a certain payout for being involved with these. Like there's just so many things like NFTs, non-fungible tokens is blowing up like CryptoPunks. People should be looking into. They were selling, like one just sold. They're selling at Sotheby's, like Sotheby's auction house. Gary Vee just had his own crypto. He's selling 5 at Sotheby's. He's using his NFT as a digital token to get into his like VCom, which is like his own virtual or kind of like Comic-Con, but for like digital creators.
So that's another question I have, because a lot of, and I'm not coming to you as the expert, but I know that in the beginning of like the crypto, there was something like 6,000 types of coins, and now there's over 12,000, right?
Yep.
So how do you choose? And I guess this is part about being in the network and doing your research, but anyone's able to create these cryptos, and then where does the value come from in each of these coins?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't have like all the answers for that. I think anyone can mine coins. I know for Bitcoin, there's a finite mine of coins that you can mine, and they're almost done mining them. Like it's like, let's say it's like 10 million coins or something like that. But you could Google it. They can only make, I think it's maybe 1 million coins. The reason why the value goes up is because it's the community in using Bitcoin believe in it. So like, you know, the first thing purchased for Bitcoin was a pizza. You know what I mean? Someone sent them the coin. Now, like, I think it was for 4 Bitcoins. So it was like, now it's like you spent $200,000 for a piece of pizza now. But back then when Bitcoin started, you know, it's like less than 0.001 cent. You know, so if someone did something, it was like a meme or something. And it was like, if you put in $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2007, it'd be worth $63 million right now. You know, we're only 15 years later. All of us could have done that at that time, you know?
Right.
So like to me, it's like, where are you going to keep your money? Are you going to keep your money in the bank? The money, you're not getting any. Stupid people keep their money in the bank. There's no need to have savings. You know, we're taught to, you know, save your money for a rainy day, you know, which is good to have savings aside. But, you know,
well, the bank takes your money and invests it.
Yeah. Leave your money in the bank. And like all these people are getting bailouts and all these things. It's just like, it's time you have to find other places for your money. Basic. Yeah. Rich people put it in the Cayman Islands.
Offshore accounts that you see in all the television shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know a lot of with the crypto, it was being dubbed as a place to send money and use money without using the banks, but it's clearly grown past that. It's clearly evolved. So for all of those who don't know anything about cryptocurrency, definitely get into it. Hit Joe up. His information is here in the chat. Joe Doherty Insurance at gmail.com. Spelled exactly how it sounds. No twists, no turns. Andre, we're gonna close things off tonight. Anything else you want to give us with the last thoughts in terms of crypto, in terms of AI, anything that you're doing in your life right now that you want to share with your viewing public?
Well, trying to continue to make myself a better person, individual, a better husband,
The way he
first
said,
and
"Well,"
foremost.
I feel like we're gonna go to 11 o'clock, man. Yes, come speak
No,
your mind.
man. So that, and just tell the people, just trying to maintain your humanity, you know, your human aspect, and it's the simple things that make us human, and it's simple things that make us who we are. AI is good, but it's only good in a moderation. Don't overdo it, and don't give up your rights. And remember, if we continue to push AI just now, it's gonna be about the AI movement and AI rights, and humans are gonna be back burners. So all of the letters of the alphabet people, you're gonna be on the back burner one day in terms of AI rights. So let's not give up too much of our human aspect, please, people. And crypto, try it. It's nothing worth a try. You can sit down and have money making for you. It's worth a try, people. Try it. Link up Joe. He has your back.
Me and Andre will call you.
No. You and AI call them, Joe.
Auto dialer.
Hello.
Hi, this is CRA.
Joe.
We have your SIN number. It's been compromised. Please hold.
For your
Joe.
contact.
Joe, you got any last thoughts on any last things you want to hit the people up with before we get out of here tonight?
No, just thanks for joining. You know, it seems to be the same people watching every week, and we appreciate you guys watching. So thank you very much. It's always fun getting to talk with you guys, and that's it.
Kimmy, we're looking forward to seeing you back with us. I know your GPS got you lost all the time, but look, the other day when Fido data was down, you were so dependent on your phone and the ability to connect to the internet, you got lost out in the wilderness. All I know is, I don't know what you're doing out in the wilderness. If you are having a wilderness experience, great. I hope your faith has been increased. Kimmy, we love you. We love you. We love you, Miss Fabulosity. Again, this is Join the Chat. We're not experts, but we are people who invested in other people just achieving knowledge so that we can all just win in life. If you don't know anything about artificial intelligence, just realize it's a tool. Use it in moderation. Don't lose your thought process. Don't lose the ability to think for yourself. Cryptocurrencies, go out there, do a little bit of research. Here to stay. It is the way, not of the future. It is the way of now. So get involved with it. Understand how it works. Understand what of the coins to invest in. Hit up Joe. He will walk you through some things. And find yourself a community if you don't know. But, you know, finance is key. Financial literacy is key. And we all need to do a better job of just being financially responsible so we can make our money work for itself. Make our money work for us as opposed to us always working for money. This is Join the Chat. This is the place where every single opinion is important, where your voice matters. We try to provide a free and an open platform to speak, also to be heard. And we encourage everyone just to speak. Join us on YouTube, follow us, like, subscribe, share this with all of your friends. And as we grow our network, we are out for another week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Join the chat family, join the chat crew. I am Ranford Bojangles signing off. One love all. Thank you.